So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saieed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. It's Monday night in Trinidad and Tobago. Last weekend, or weekend gone, was the carnival in Tobago. A few days of carnival. We hope nobody is injured. We hope everything is smooth. And those of you who left Trinidad to go to Tobago carnival, let's just hope you're back safe and on work today after carnival. So just as a club date for you, Trinidad and Tobago. Authorities have implemented several measures to minimize shipping delays caused by the presence of the USS warship Gravely at the Port of Spain this week. In a joint statement, Custom and Excise Division, the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, and the Point Lisas Industrial Port Development Corporation Limited, PhilDec, announced that vessels and cargo may be temporarily redirected to the port of Point Lisas for processing. It also noted that it is also noted that the port of Point Lisas has extended its gate hours and that custom officers have been deployed to assist with additional inspection and clearance operation. So Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who have goods coming in, I guess it is being redirected from Port of Spain to the Point Lisas port. Additional hours, additional officers, just to make sure it runs smoothly and in a timely manner. So straight into our current affairs segment, Trinidad and Tobago. Venezuela has condemned what it described as the dangerous carrying out of military exercise by the government of Trinidad and Tobago, coordinated under the control and financing of the United States Southern Command. So firstly, I want to say that Venezuela and their ministers are out of place to condemn the U.S. coming to Trinidad and Tobago officials to train our defense force individuals. Venezuela is totally out of place for saying it condemns this. You see, this training does not benefit Venezuela to start with. It benefits the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force soldiers. They are our frontline officers in case a war breaks out in Trinidad and Tobago. That is the start with Trinidad and Tobago. Secondly, the government of Venezuela have no authority to condemn any boat or marine coming to Trinidad and Tobago. So I don't care what them say, they have stepped out of line for this condemnation to Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the statement from Caracas came as the U.S. warship USS Gravely arrived in Port of Spain for a 5-day visit from October 26th to 30th. However, on Sunday, Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez sharply criticized the exercise, calling them a hostile provocation against Venezuela and a serious threat to the peace of the Caribbean. This woman mad? This woman mad? But you know what was okay? Trinidad and Tobago, you know what was okay? It was okay for Stuart Young and Dr. Rowley to take up $1 million and give it to a sanctioned government, a sanctioned country. That was okay. For Maduro, for Delcy, and for the government, that was an okay thing. So what many of you all don't know is that Stuart Young, Keith Rowley, and the entire 41 MPs of the PNM administration knew Venezuela was sanctioned under the S. But you know what we did? Two Clong ministers didn't care if Trinidad and Tobago got sanctioned. Why you think the US revoked the OFAC license? Why you think? Because our government was doing business with a sanctioned country. Let me tell you something. Dr. Keith Rowley should have remained in power and all I would have seen something. All I would have witnessed Trinidad and Tobago being sanctioned by Donald Trump administration. So I am asking us now as a people, how more stupid are we? Or how more dotish are we? Or how more dumb are we as Trinidad and Tobago citizens to allow members of the PNM to bully us? How stupid are we? Are we that stupid and dotish as a people? I am asking you all tonight. You see, I know the value of the sanction. I do business with other countries right here in Trinidad. And I want you all to understand this. If Trinidad and Tobago did in fact be sanctioned by the US because of Stuart and because of Rowley and the PNM administration, let me tell you something. People from other countries who doing business with Saieed, that would have cut out clean. And you know what would have happened? Me and my company would have lost doing business with outsiders. You know why? Trinidad and Tobago is sanctioned. All those oil companies that doing business in Trinidad and Tobago would have had to pack up and leave this country. Stuart Chung wouldn't tell you that. Penelope Beckles wouldn't tell you that. Brian Manning wouldn't tell you that. Imbert wouldn't tell you that. But we as a people need to be educated. Imagine this, eh? The US sent a military ship with military personnel to train our defense officers. But Dulce Rodriguez condemned that. Dulce Rodriguez couldn't manage their own country. Venezuelans have to leave their country and scatter in the Caribbean to make a living. But Dulce Rodriguez and her government in Venezuela wants to condemn Trinidad and Tobago. It's sad, you know. It's sad. It's like Cronenberg telling Trinidad and Tobago that the UNC government has no money to run Trinidad, but ask Clum what he do with all the money. When he was finance minister, he can't open his mouth and yappy tongue to give us an answer. You see? You see? Do so air like so, Trinidad and Tobago. Do so air like so. So here it is. Her concerns were echoed by Venezuelan Foreign Affairs Minister Ivan Gil, who, on a statement on Monday, urged TNT not to be dragged into a dirty war. How is that a war? So hear this now. Hear this now. Russia, Putin, decides now to back Venezuela. So if I ask Dulce Rodriguez now, why is Putin and Russia backing your country? What's she gonna say? What's she gonna say? You see? You see? You wanna condemn Trinidad, but I'm sure probably 10 or 15% of all your people living in Trinidad. You can't even manage your own state of affairs in your country, but you wanna condemn Trinidad for the officers and them getting an upgrade in training. Trinidad and Tobago, that's why I just tell you. When I come here, I come to make friends and I come to educate you all. That is what I come here to do. Now, in his statement, he said, Venezuela has clearly informed the government of Trinidad and Tobago about a CIA-led false flag operation, attacking or tracking an American military ship parked on the island and then blaming Venezuela to justify and aggression against our country. No, Maduro. To start with, you threaten Trinidad. That's number one. Secondly, you threaten Guyana. Guyana do you nothing, you threaten Guyana. Trinidad and do you nothing. You know, if Dr. Rowley was running Trinidad and Tobago and the ships come, was okay, you know, because there are, according to documents that the PNM signed, the U.S. could put troops right here in Trinidad and Tobago. So, where's Dr. Rowley now? What happened to Stuart Young now? His mouth zip, his tongue gets stiff, he can't move. What about Penelope Beckles? Where's Penelope? Why she can't come out and make a statement that her former Prime Minister and the leader of the PNM back then signed the agreement? What Penny? Where is Penny? 2 cents. I just always say, I'm not for no political party, but you see the truth? It's coming out by me. It ain't nothing to sweep under the red carpet, you know. Nope. And for the, how to say it? For the social media hogs and them, who spreading false propaganda and want you as a Trinidad and Tobago citizen to believe them. Why they don't talk the truth? Why they don't talk the truth? You rather lie and then let people find out the truth and then call you a liar? How it looking? How it looking? You see Trinidad and Tobago, a Facebook hog will always be a Facebook hog. They can't change. They can't change because all they're doing is going to digital at the end of the month. You're paying your $350 and you're behind a camera and you're yapping your lip and your tongue that God gave you. So what? Spread lies instead of spread the truth. Why don't come out and spread the truth? Some of them spreading, watch me now. They're spreading lies and they kill them dead, they believe in the lie too, you know. But it's such a sad thing. It's such a sad thing between Saieed and them. Them paying $350 every month to come out and brag on social media. Like if they could do anything for the country. So I just wonder sometimes. I just wonder. Now Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this. The ships marine in the Gulf of Paria fabricate a conflict to impose interests outside our region. Let me tell you something. Maduro and Dulce, you're not getting the truth from them, you know. You know what they're missing? 1 million US they're missing every month. We can't even get US in our own country to do business. But Stuart Young carrying US down there. I thought we couldn't pay Venezuela in dollars. So how did now Stuart Young do that? Dr. Rowley should have remained in power. And then all what I know, when the US sanction us, then watch me now. It wouldn't have enough grass for we to eat in Trinidad, you know. Take what I'm telling all you. That is why I keep mentioning sanction to all you, so all you would understand. When a country is sanctioned by the United States, companies that are doing business in that country have no other choice but to pack up and leave that country. So all you don't know what we got away from. Stuart Young will go behind all the cameras, but he wouldn't sell all of that. Penelope Beckles, Stuart Young, Saieed Rowley, Clungenbert, Brian Manning, all of them will say yap. But tell them to talk the truth. Tell them to talk the truth. They can't do that. You know why? All you as a citizen must remain under a barrel. And anytime they beat the drum, you just jump. If you hear bang, you jump. You hear tang, you jump. You hear bodo, you jump. And you don't even know what the hell you're jumping for, but you're jumping. So it's time now that we as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago start understanding the truth. All those social media hogs who want to spread propagandas and lies and telling you not the truth, why it is you are following them? For 9 years, all you're hearing is tighten your belt, tighten your belt, tighten your belt. And we as clowns, all we doing is tighten we belt and tighten we belt and tighten we belt. When Clongenberg raised gas 3 times, we didn't hear no hogs on social media complaining. But Kamala dropped the price of gas by $1 and all the hogs complaining. All of them complaining. Rippling effects. What was the rippling effects when Clongenberg raised the gas? Everything went up. Where was all the social media hogs and them? Ask yourself that. How much of them come out in all their support? None of them. None of them. The military come down to train the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, all of them ball in war. Who warring all here? I want to ask all of that question. Who warring all here? The fight is between the United States, Donald Trump, and Venezuela. Not you as a Trinidadian. Get that through all your skull. Let me show you a little thing with the PNM. Russia and Ukraine had a war going on. I want you to remember this, because this happened, I believe, in last year, April or May. When wheat was hard to get? Try and Tobago, listen to this. Ukraine and Russia in a war. Barbados dropped the price of gas. April, May, June, somewhere around there, I just can't remember the exact date. Barbados, Mayor Motley, her government dropped the price of gas. Guyana, Irfan Ali and his government dropped the price of gas. You know what the PNM administration did in Trinidad and Tobago because of the war in Ukraine and Russia? They raised the price of the gas. Who did it? The cabinet. Who was in power? The PNM administration. Where was all those social media hogs who spreading lies? Where were they? You see, not much people would want to hear the truth. The die-hard PNM fans, listen this. Do not die foolish. Open your brains. Kamala dropped the price of gas. All the social media hogs complaining. Embed raised the price of gas. All are clapping him. Who more stupid? Ask yourself that. So tonight is not about PNM, it's not about UNC, it's not about political party. It's us as Trinbagonians people educating ourselves. It's about education. It's about knowing what is happening in our own country. Imagine, like I said before earlier, Dulce Rodriguez and Maduro can't manage their own affairs. Their people scatter all over the Caribbean. But Dulce Rodriguez telling Trinidad and Tobago that the army officials in our country come to fight war with them. And all over printed press, TV, social media, you're hearing and reading that the officers and them came to train Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. Upgrade our skills, upgrade our tactics, upgrade our medical supplies. Let me tell you something. When you're foolish and you don't want to be educated, 1% of education, you will always be foolish. You will always be foolish. It's sad. It's sad, but tonight I had to do this. We as a Trinidadian people, don't be stupid. Don't be. Imagine Kamala dropped the price of gas by $1 and I, as a businessman, saving $12,000 for the year. $12,000. If she dropped the gas by $2, I am saving $24,000 a year. But we have social media hogs now who rather spread a lie than tell you the truth. You know why? See this little thing they call money? You're selling your soul for money. Imagine you get a little money to spread lies, and in realizing it have people smarter than you who will tell the public the truth. What do I benefit from coming here every night and telling you all the truth? Tell me. It's sad, eh? This is how foolish we are as a people. This is how foolish. Viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, I will let you all know a little bit about Real Talk competition that they are having. More when we return.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, I was informed today about the little competition the yacht management team is keeping. Now, as I said, for the ladies in the bikini, carnival, I'll let her pay for a costume to jump up in carnival to get nothing. To get absolutely nothing. You know, you're fetting for free, as we would say. You spend 5,000-6,000 behind a costume, a two-piece, and you're fetting for free. Now, I was informed today by the management committee of Legend Yacht, that's Real Talk Yacht. Now, this competition, like I said, is $350 to enter, right? And you could win $10,000 for being the best body, the best bikini. So if you want to compete for something that will put something in your pocket. I just always say, if you had to make an investment, you better make an investment and gain from it, you know. Otherwise, keep that money in your pocket. So, it's like this. All them hot girls out there, you find you're looking good in a bikini, is not a problem, right? Contact the board committee, or I could give you my number, 3391670. You contact me, right? Now, $350 to book a spot on the boat, right? $350. So, they will have 15 people going down on the boat, that's 15 ladies, in the bikini. It's a photo shoot. As I say, Legend Yacht is looking for the best lady with the bikini. There's no vulgar thing because on the streets of Carnival, all I want to see, DJ, director, on the streets of Carnival, where do you see? Madness. Madness. Nearly nothing on for free. Nearly nothing on for free, right? So, you enter the competition, $350 to enter, $250 to enter. You book your spot. Well, I heard that they have free drinks on the boat. I don't know what it is they're serving. That is not my business. That is management. Because at the end of the day, they are employed to make money on the yacht. Right? Good. So you're booking your spot. You and your crew, 3-4 ladies, if all the linemen and crews, you book your spot. You go down, you do your photo shoot. You could be down Scotland. There's a nice place, everybody go down to chill out. You go down, you take your drink wherever. I guess they will have food on the boat. You do your photo shoot, and every 15 people, right, that they go with, they do their photo shoot, there will be one person that they will select to go to the next category. That person could win $1,000 being among the 15 with the best suit on. Well, this is why I was informed. I just sharing the message for you all. Don't kill the messenger. You know, we love to kill the messenger. We are doing that. So ladies, if you think you're looking nice in a bikini, book your spot. $350 could win you $10,000. Could win you $10,000. And $10,000 nowadays, is a nice piece of change in your money, you know, in your pocket, in your bank, wherever. DJ laughing, director laughing, you know. You know what I'm talking about. Now, like I said, the best ladies, the best bikini, $350 a spot, 10,000 could be yours. They're going down 15 people, Scotland Bay, you go do your video shoot, your photo shoot, and that's it. You eat your drink, you enjoy yourself, you're back up on shore. So this is as far as I could go. You understand? More information, you could call me 3391670. I'll be getting some more info tomorrow, but this is what I got today. So ladies, start booking your spot if you think 10,000 is yours. Christmas coming up, you want to travel, you want to buy your decorations, your curtain, you want to give some gift for the Christmas, 10,000 can help you do that. There can only be one winner. But every 15 ladies go down, one out of them person, you could win $1,000. Easy. So enter the competition, don't let it pass you, 10,000 could be yours. That's my first step right there. So we're going back to our stories tonight, Trinidad and Tobago. Despite the varying views of the USS military warship, the USS Gravely's presence in Trinidad shore, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Sean Sobel, says they are welcomed. The U.S. warship is here to assist the Trinidad and Tobago military coming out from the annual multinational military exercise dubbed Trade Winds. These exercises are co-hosted by the U.S. Army, South, and Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, which took place earlier this year. But nobody from the PNM side is saying nothing, eh? The minister said this ship visit to this country's shore is evidence of the constant bilateral and diplomatic relationship with the United States. Listen to Transovers.
One of the things coming out of Trade Winds was that our TTDF, our naval capability, may not have been at optimum operating capacity. And so a request would have been made for assistance in that regard. The Gravely is here in furtherance of that request, and we welcome them being here.
So Trinidad and Tobago, what I want to ask all you, right? What I want to ask all you, when Dr. Rowley, earlier this year, signed the agreement for the U.S. military to drop troops in Trinidad and Tobago, how come we didn't hear that from Dulcie Rodriguez? How come? Why Dulcie Rodriguez didn't say, well, you know, keep giving the U.S. permission to drop troops in Trinidad and Tobago? Why she didn't say something? You want to know why they didn't say something? 1 million U.S. was talking. But now the 1 million U.S. ain't talking. So Dulcie Rodriguez now rattling she tongue. She tongue get free will to speak now. You see, as again, the opposition, which is the PNM, would never come out and say these things. They rather rattle their voice in parliament. Who's suffering? Every month, these ministers and them getting a lump sum to go home with. Them getting a big pension. Well, like a 4%. 4%. CPO said is either all take it or leave it. And they would smile. They would smile. And brought on property tax on your personal home. While he get what? Exempted from his business to pay property tax. What the PNM people did say? What Penelope said? What Stuart Young said? You know what they say? If all you don't pay property tax, I will drop a fine on all you and lay all you know $5,000 and you will be charged for what? A criminal offense. All you forget or what? All you forget or what? No, let we not be that dumb. Let's not be that dumb. Now we have no property tax in both vex. Now, industrial people now, or commercial renters now, have to pay property tax. The one who actually making the money now, from rental property, they pay property tax, while you get to keep yours. You get to keep your house private, with nobody forcing you to pay a property tax. That's a personal home. You think anybody care that? Where's the social media hogs? Where are they? They dabbling in mud? Mud go along their throat, they can't talk. If you don't like it, you can't do me nothing. It's simple as that. Caller, good night.
Good night, sir. That is well said. You know, a little correction there. You know, the commercial rentals, it is only on actual rental, you know. It is on actual. So if you have a commercial property and there is no rental, there is no tax to pay. You have to actually get rental. So that is one aspect. You know, sir, one thing I must say. This PNM, you know, I must give credit to them, sir. They there is the only party who have that, you know, they could make right thing look wrong and wrong thing look right. That is the only party who could do that. Make right thing look wrong and wrong thing look right. You know, I looked at a media house last night, sir. I don't know if I could call the name, but I will not call that name. Where the reporter was asking the student representative from Jamaica And the girl is giving them the correct answer. Those who got the email respond, and she don't know about the rest. But the opportunity was there for them.
Correct.
Who could access it. And you know, this reporter was pressing her. You could see how she's pressing her to say anti-things about the government. But the woman stand up, sir. Now, you know, sir, look, at the same time last year, we have state of emergency. Crime was 500 and something. We have state of emergency, that crime is 300. So you see where the problem lies? The problem was the government. The problem, we had change of the government, and they have the will, the political will to deal with it. You know what is strange, what I find strange in this country, sir? When Imbatane was talking about patriotism, what about this man, David Abela? He went up so much time for election. And I don't think he had enough vote even to follow raffle sheets. And why is it so much people and the PNM, who is like the live agent for Maduro here? Why is all these other CARICOM countries, what has Maduro done for them? What has Maduro? But we must pray for our Prime Minister and hope that she remains there for about 20 years. And it is my wish to God that PNM never sees power again. Look at Amory. Sir, did you forget in the COVID time, you talking about a few students and a hurricane will be for a few days. When they came here, they was not allowed to come in their own country. And I will say, seek shelter. Did we forget as a country when people went to the cremation site in Caroni and the dead had to lie down on the road because they refused to open the gate? Did you remember all of that, sir?
Yes,
Did you remember all of that? And this PNM now have come and talk about heartlessness, and we must care, we must be transparent. You know how much agreement they signed. That PNM government was known for non-disclosure. Anything they signed, non-disclosure agreement. Non-disclosure. You cannot have transparency. And again, so one thing again, first time in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, this very PNM vote against a budget. You ever have heard that before? They had nothing but they say it's fraudulent. You know who was fraudulent? The PNM was fraudulent. You see how much thing coming out?
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. You know, Trinidad and Tobago, we as a people, let me tell you something. You don't get carried away. Here's what you're doing. You're listening, you're understanding, and you're responding. You don't listen to respond. Because listening to respond, just like that, you end up in foolishness. You will end up in foolishness. You listen, you analyze, and you respond. That's the same thing I do with Dulcie. It's the same thing I do with Dulcie. It's the same thing I do with Maduro. It's the same thing I do with Keith Rowley. It's the same thing I do with Xiao Chong and Imbert. I listen to what they have to say. I analyze with what they have to say, with what happened in the past. Tonight, I'm giving all the answers. I'm giving all the answers. It's sad. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, despite, before he said, Sean Sobers, he said, community-based projects will also benefit from the USS Gravely during their time here. Sean Sobers, one more time.
So there's a school that the US assists a lot with respect to painting and refurbishment works and whatnot. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I prefer to let the US do so, which they will in short order. They have some nice goodies to give those students of that school in collaboration with our Prime Minister, and we are very grateful for the US in so doing.
So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, PM offers support to nationals in Jamaica when we return.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So, Trinidad and Tobago, just a little reminder before I get carried away. Sometimes the shows be so nice, so entertaining, so real, so educational. Sometimes I just forget, Remember, viewers, Real Talk Financing, we are offering you 5% on fixed deposit. We are the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago that is offering 5% on a fixed deposit with your interest within 14 days' time. So you don't have to wait for 5 years to collect your interest. You're getting your interest within 14 days' time, so you have 5 years to enjoy your interest. Also, it could be 5 years and under, the interest would vary. The percentage rate will vary. But you could get 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, up to 5 years. You understand? Now, like I said before, Real Talk Equipment, we have excavators for sale or excavators for rent. Trinidad and Tobago, the contractors, if you're looking for an excavator to rent, it's not a problem. Contact me, 339-1670. We could work out something. We have 305, 306, which is 2023 model. The latest. But nevertheless, you can contact me. If you want an excavator to buy, it's not a problem. Contact me and we can talk. Also, Trinidad and Tobago, Real Talk Legend Yacht. What yacht there? Real Talk Legend Yacht. They're having a competition. Coming up. So those of you ladies, if you're looking good in a bikini, book your spot. $350 a spot could win you $10,000. Plus, there's a crew of 15. You go down the island, you do your photo shoot, you do your video shoot in your bikini. You can also win $1,000 right there on that spot, viewers. Remember that it's a competition. It's for the ladies. If you find you're looking hot, you find you're looking good, not a problem. This could be yours. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, this is the only event like this in our country. This is the only event. Real Talk Legend Yacht is offering you $10,000. Nobody else in this country who hold party, you understand, will offer you them kind of money. Nobody else. As I always tell Trinidad and Tobago, when Real Talk do something, we capturing everybody, You ever went to a boat cruise and get $10,000 because you find you're looking good in a bikini. All them kind of crews all over, you're paying to enter, you're drinking, you're getting drunk, all kind of thing. And where you going home with? You're going home with nothing at the end of the day. Nothing. Imagine that, eh? Hence the reason why I say, you see Real Talk? Saieed Ali, managing director, the director of this company, when we bring out something, we bring it out to beat and pass everybody. Everybody, we passing you. Financing, we passing you. Loan, we passing you. Now, yacht rental, we passing you. You pay to go on a cruise, you dress up in your bikini, and you're going home next day. With what? With what? So the competition is for you ladies, $350, $350. You could win $10,000 at the end of everything. But, as I say, book your spot, 15 people per session. We go down Scotland Bay, you do your video shoot, you do your photo shoots, and who knows, 1 in 15 people could go home back with $1,000. That is our motivation for the next ride, to give you 10,000. Who does it? Real Talk. So this time, Legend Yacht, Real Talk Legend Yacht is doing it better than everybody. Better than everybody. With his come go Trinidad and Tobago. With his sit down, with his plan, with his execute. And when we do execute, it's the best execution in the land. We ain't killing nobody, but we're executing the ideas to make money. And you, the citizen, would benefit. So remember that if you want more information, contact me 3391670. Book your spot, and you could win. So back to our program tonight. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissess has said her administration has reached out to Jamaica Prime Minister Andrew Holness and stand ready to provide immediate assistance to TNT citizens in Jamaica following the country's Category 5 hurricane report. In a statement issued on Monday, the government confirmed its mobile, manpower, technical resource, emergency supplies, and food items to aid relief and recovery effort. The coordinated response will involve the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management, that is the ODPM, the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, who the U.S. is training presently, the Minister of National Security, the Minister of Defense, and the Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. Additionally, a national relief collection drive will be launched to gather essential supplies from citizens, businesses, and community groups. The government said collection point will be announced as soon as Trinidad and Tobago prepares to extend solidarity and assistance to its Caribbean neighbors. Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers has defended the government's handling of communication and support for Trinidad and Tobago students studying in Jamaica, saying verified record shows that flight and assistance information was sent out well ahead of the country's evacuation flights following Category 5 Hurricane Melissa, which is expected to be one of the worst storms in Jamaica's history. During a press conference on Sunday, Minister Sobers said there are currently 268 Trinidad and Tobago students registered in Jamaica. He explained that additional flights were approved through special dispensations to facilitate nationals seeking to return home. 85 students responded to the email sent on Thursday, more than 12 hours before two special Caribbean airline flights offering discounted travel to TNT were scheduled. Listen to this.
A figure of about 183 students who did not respond at all. For varying reasons, we suspect. In any event, that information would have then been passed on to Caribbean Airlines and also passed on to the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. Caribbean Airlines immediately would have issued at 9:20 a.m. after speaking to the Caribbean Airlines manager in Jamaica, with the first secretary of the Trinidad and Tobago High Commission, who confirmed that there were no requests at that point in time or escalations from the students for a flight back to Trinidad. However, she was told that Caribbean Airlines flight on the 23rd of October 2025 was operating at that juncture with 22 available seats.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, according to the minister, he said the government also provided extra funding to secure food supplies for students who choose to stay on the island. Listen to this now, viewers. So while we're getting that video ready for viewers, however, students of Jamaica, UWI, shared with the media copies of meals contradicting the minister's statement where they received the government communication after flight had already departed.
We understood that there would have been students who might have considered, listen, let me stay, because they would have been considering the cost for the repatriation exercise. And based upon that, an instruction would have been given to the Permanent Secretary within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who then immediately had it carried out, that further impress funds would have been sent to the High Commission in Jamaica, so that food supplies and provisions would have been purchased for the remaining students in Jamaica.
So, Trinidad and Tobago, now there's a video circulating on social media stating that the government sent some food items to Venezuela. But what was shown on that social media, the first part of the video, was a lie. But then a second part of the video stated where the ministers did send relief. They did send relief. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, you know, people, commentators, social media hawks will try to put down the UNC administration in all possible ways. But I want to let you understand something. I want the PNM administration to understand that the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago took a choice to remove you all from office. That is what they did. To remove, to start something new, to give an ex-party a chance. But nevertheless, moving along, the hotel school in Chagaramas will be reopened as part of the government measures in the 2025-2026 budget to assist in tourism. How come Randall Mitchell was the former minister for tourism and the PNM administration and the school was shut down? At the start of the Senate debate on the appropriation financial year 2026, Bill 2025, Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development, Dr. Kennedy Saratan Singh, reviewed the measures from the House, saying he was saddened upon visiting the dysfunctional Trinidad and Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. Remember, this institute was shut down under the PNM. Who was Tourism Minister? Randall Mitchell. Listen to this.
Real travesty when I visited Chagaramas upon assuming office that the hotel school not only has been closed but was mothballed for the last 7 or 8 years. That hotel school used to produce roughly about 700 graduates every year.
So imagine that, 700 graduates, individual in the tourism sector. in the hotel and tourism sector. So in case a big hotel within Trinidad and Tobago needs individual, they go to the tourism sector. That is the hotel and tourism sector. And they will pick out the qualified candidates and pull them in a hotel. And we have some fabulous big hotels in Trinidad or even up the Caribbean. Now, with that certificate in hotel and tourism, with that certificate, you could have sent an application to a hotel of the Caribbean. And if there's vacancy, you could have gotten a job. But you know what? That was scrapped. Thrown in a back burner. 700 students lost the opportunity of a high income, working in an executive hotel or in the tourism sector. Tourism dead in Trinidad, you know. When I tell you dead, it's dead, it's dead. But nevertheless, there are people who are trying to restore back the country. I'll tell you this, We suffered for 9 years in Trinidad and Tobago. And the social media hogs and them who cannot do nothing for their own community, they expect this country to fix in 3 months and in 6 months. Tourism closed down about 7 or 8 years now, according to the minister. Social media hogs wouldn't say nothing, you know. They'd rather jump over that than to find out what the P&M had in place for tourism. It's sad, it's really sad. We as our own people in our country bringing down ourselves. We as our own people, 1.4 million people, and we can't come together to have the best country in the Caribbean. You know what we're doing? We're digging out one another eye. That is what we're doing in this country. So when you see Barbados, and you see Guyana, and you see Grenada shooting up with development in their country, and it growing from third world to second world to first world, we're still fighting one another here. That's how we are. We're like crab in a damn barrel. It's a stink state, but this is how we are. We are fighting on ourselves. Right? But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, we're out of time for tonight. But tomorrow, there's a rerun from 11:30 to 12:30. We'll be right back here another night for Real Talk with Saieed as we go live again. Until, be safe.